Welcome to the John Barsby Paw'dcast. I am Nico.S, and I'm interviewing the one and only Ms.Knox today.
Good afternoon, Nico.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Well, thank you.
That's good. So I have a couple questions for you here. What do you do here at the school?
I currently am the teaching chef at the school here, so I run the cafeteria program, and I also teach English 12, which I'm teaching in the afternoon of fourth quarter this year, and I run the philosophy club.
And how long have you been teaching here?
I want to say 7 years. I had a little hiatus for a while, and I moved to New Brunswick for a while, but for a year and a half, and I came back, and I think I've been back 3 years now.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Did you teach anywhere before that?
I taught at Ladysmith, the teaching chef position as well, and when I was in New Brunswick, I taught English 10, English 12, and Canadian literature.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. The real point of this interview, I understand you run the school snack cart that's been going around during classes, like the long 3-hour classes. People need snacks because they're gonna get hungry.
So the snack cart, the snack cart was kind of like a response to COVID when we came back to school in March when we let out. When we were out when we had like the lockdown and everyone was out of school. There was obviously not too much cooking going on, if any. And when we came back for June, there wasn't really much cooking going on then either because there was so many restrictions. We were still trying to work out, the process of how school is going to operate. And so when September came, I had all summer after the June kind of trial run to figure out what it might look like in September. And then we were given the schedule, and the schedule was those 2 3-hour classes for broken down into quarters. So we had 8 classes, but there were 2 3-hour classes during the day. And I really thought to myself that would be an awfully long time to be sitting in a class without some kind of like break or lunch. And there were also restrictions on lunch. Like there was no cafeteria service wasn't allowed. Outside parties weren't allowed to come to the school and give, offer free lunch services. And there was no meal program, no breakfast program, and no cafeteria service, and no eating in the hallways because we had to wear our masks, and Chandler Hall was closed. So I thought, well, where are you going to get food, and what is going to happen to everybody who used to use all the programs that we had operating here? So I thought to myself, well, maybe we could offer, one of the dreams I've had like my whole teaching career was to offer free food to students, right? And to have like healthy, nutritious food options for free to kids. What I thought we could do was offer free food to the kids and do it during class time because we would have we were all mandated to have a little break there. And so I started petitioning not just the administration here at the school, but the school district and outside parties for funds to start this program. And I wrote many grants and have received like positive feedback and some grant money from several different places and from our school in-house at the school here. So we've been fully funded since September, and we still have funds probably run until the end of April so far.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So fully fully charity-run program, the snack cart is.
Yeah, definitely heard about that. Is that happening at any other schools?
No, I believe ND has a very small program that they're running in the morning, but it's not the same kind of. It might be a sign-up service, which is completely different than what we're doing here. What we do here is contactless delivery, free for everybody, and the volume of food that we do is incredible.
Yeah, definitely. What kind of food does it offer?
The snack cart?
Snack cart.
Well, the snack cart, in the morning we always have protein, like a boiled egg or some kind of like
cereal.
Cereal and milk. Fresh milk is available all the time. And then sometimes we have oatmeal or granola and yogurt. We have breakfast wraps.
Yeah, the breakfast wraps are great.
Yeah, thanks. And it just depends on the composition of the class, right? We've had 2 quarters so far, and we've had very different quarters. One class, the morning class right now, we have 4 students in, and the morning class before we had 20. So it was a bit of a different, what we were able to do was different. It's a little more scaled back now. So we only have hot items 3 times a week instead of 5. And then the afternoon, we make a homemade soup from scratch, or some other kind of hot entree item from scratch. Sometimes it's pasta, it might be a wrap again, or some kind of like hot item. And then we usually offer some kind of bakery good that we've made in the cafeteria. We always have fresh fruit, like oranges or apples are typically what we have. But everything we make is from scratch. Wow. The soup stock is boiled from bones, and the meat, the meat is roasted in-house. If we're making chicken noodle soup, absolutely everything's done from scratch.
That's amazing. Genuinely.
Nico?
Yeah.
It's amazing that students are doing all the work. Really, it's just, and sometimes they'll be all new students, but they just come into stride right away, and we get it all out there. And we're doing like massive volumes. Like some days we'll do, like I bet I've delivered 10,000 oranges and apples since September, and I'm probably like 5,000 cups of soup. Easily.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. Some classes, because of the volume of food that is usually ordered, some classes don't get it. Like, I know that sometimes during, like, usually at the end of the science wing or Miss Obersteiner's class, because I am in those 2 classes, sometimes they don't get food because sometimes the snack cart usually is empty by the time that they get there.
Well, we're really trying to constantly improve. It's quite a dance. We're trying to improve the volume of food that we do, but it's quite a dance as to how much to make, because we're kind of doing like guessing on attendance and guessing on the popularity of each item. Yeah. Some of them we know for sure, like chicken noodle soup is a crowd pleaser. Pizza bread's a crowd pleaser. Apples and oranges, surprisingly, are, everyone likes apples and oranges. And any kind of wrap is also a crowd pleaser. Like, I think we delivered 600 wraps last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we try our best. But again, especially in the morning, it's only 4 kids, and they'll make like 300 breakfast wraps. Right?
Yeah. That must take a lot of work.
Well, they're quick. And, my hat goes off to all the students that, always. But in particular, this year has been particularly rewarding as a teacher to see the students get on board with the snack cart. I think right away being of service to each other and the school, and really having like a driving purpose of like, this is students feeding students, right? Is they can not only see how it would be beneficial from the point of view of cooking the food, but in the next class they're in having the point of view of receiving the food, right? So they can see its value, and so they really throw themselves into working hard and doing a good job. And it's been pure joy as a teacher to see focused, engaged, purpose-driven students do an excellent job, and at the volumes of items that we're doing. It's been great.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and also, like you mentioned earlier, you also run the philosophy club.
I do?
Yeah, you do. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Yeah, the philosophy club started last year. I've always had an interest in philosophy and reading great books. But I had some senior students last year that were also interested in philosophy, and they had spent the first couple months of school. Was kind of operating like a library, lending books to them. And we kind of decided together, they had asked if I would, if they could meet sometime and talk about the books. And I thought, well, let's start a philosophy club. So we did.
Really?
And that kind of evolved into a kind of like afternoon snack and philosophy club. It seems like everything I do involves some eating or some food. And that's been a real rewarding experience as well. I think last year it was very senior driven and student driven. They were very keen, and because they were seniors, they were quite, they had kind of mastered organization and getting a club running. And now they've all graduated. This year we have quite a junior club, but I think we are working. The club is really evolving. At first, it was we were trying to find our feet in it, but I think it's really turning into something much like it was the year before. It's just going to take time because
whole evolution process.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's different people who are running the club. Before it was the seniors, and now and the juniors were just there and kind of like participating, and now it's them who are running the club.
Yeah.
And as you well know, I think you have a position in the club too, don't you?
Yeah, I am the secretary.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that club will be a long-term club. It's just, it ebbs and flows.
Yeah. Philosophy club has definitely changed a lot of my life, actually. My Thursdays usually were empty. I wouldn't do anything after school, just go home, do the usual routine, but it's nice to actually intellectually think for once. Yeah,
Yeah, asking yourself those big questions in life are often, I find there aren't many platforms in life where people ask you questions that, what's real, why do things matter, what is just, what is the difference between right and wrong. Like, although we, engage in a lot of different realms and subjects, it's sometimes those big questions are not addressed. Yeah. So I think that's what the purpose of the club is, to address those big questions.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that seems to be all the questions I got here. Do you have any closing remarks, Ms.Knox?
Well, I would just like to reiterate my gratitude to all the students I've had this year. And in such a crazy year where it's confusing, it's a little scary, things are different, you have to navigate a different course as far as what school is and how you're going to do it. My hat goes off to the students who have participated in my class. I couldn't thank them enough for doing such an excellent job, and I appreciate them.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Knox.
Thank you, Nico.
Yeah. Well, this has been the John Barsby podcast. I'm Nico Suter. Thank you for watching.